Hello everyone, welcome back to Crafts by the Bow. Today I'm going to show you another alternative for the Paper Pumpkin August Sweet Sunflowers kit. And I'm going to use this card base here. And I'm not actually making a card, I'm making a 3D item. I'm going to make a little seed packet holder. And so this is the card base, and as you can see it's printed on both the left and the right hand side, and I've cut it right down the middle and I've saved this piece. I'm going to use that on another project, but let me get the pieces that I've already cut. Here we go. In fact, let's just start with the base and I'll come back to that one. So I've got a base of Evening Evergreen, and that is cut at 4 1/4 by 9 3/4, and I've scored it at 5 1/2. And I'm just going to go over this. I haven't got my bone folder near me, so I'm just going to use a stamp block. And it's going to go this way around, and it will make a little pouch. If you look back on my videos on my blog, you'll see that I've made this kind of a pouch before. It was slightly differently set out, and I had a little flap over the top. But it's a really easy thing to use to pop a seed packet in, or something like a hot chocolate packet with maybe a candy cane as a stair stick, or even a gift card. So that's going to be my base. And then for the inside, I've cut a piece of crushed curry, that's this one here, at 4 by 5 1/4, and a piece of basic white at 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And I've attached the white onto the crushed curry. And then you can see it says a strip left over of designer series paper. And this is my strip left over, but let me show you how I got that piece. I wanted to use as much of the sunflower as I could, but this piece is too big for what I needed. I'm going to move these two pieces out of the way. There we go. So I needed a piece of crushed curry at 4 by 4 and my designer series paper at 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. And rather than measure from the top or the bottom and cut it off, I wanted to use as big a piece of that as I could. So here's my piece. And you can see that when you align them like this, I have a very narrow strip left over at the top, and I had a piece left over at the bottom, and that's the piece that I put on this inside piece. So that's where that came from. But you can cut this just how you want. If you wanted to mainly have this purple flower and the yellow sunflower, cut from the top. I just liked this one as well. So I need a 4 by 4 crushed curry, and that's this piece. And then my little designer series paper piece is 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. And I've only left a tiny little border because I want as much of that sunflower as I can get. And when you pop this on here, you'll see what I mean about it just having a tiny border. There we go. There we are. Now I'm going to attach this to the front. And I'm going to stick it flat down. If you wanted to put it on dimensionals and give it even more height, then you could do that. Oh, I think my tape runner has nearly run out. Might just have enough to finish. Okay, I'm going to add this to here, and there's a slightly bigger border around this. Okay, so that's going to be the front. This is our inside piece, and you can attach it if you want, or you can leave it as a piece that you can take out and read. So I'm going to leave it just like that for now. I haven't decided if I'm going to glue it in or not. Okay, now for the front, because I was mainly using this card front as an idea, I've done the same. I've got the little piece of Blackberry Bliss paper, and I'm going to stamp on the little label there, but I'm using the pinky purple label. And here's our little tiny piece of designer series paper. So I'm going to stamp, and I'm going to stamp in Blackberry Bliss. And this one just says hello, but I think I might put something else on. Let's put this wishing you so much happiness, because we know that one fits. And take the little hello off, and And I'm going to get a little bit bigger block just to pop that on, just so that I can see it a little bit easier. Okay. I'm going to line this up, make it as straight as I can without you seeing the top of my head. Oops. Okay, and we don't need the ink for any more. There's very little stamping on this. Okay, there we are. Now, let me decide. I think I'm actually going to glue this down. But as I say, you can leave it so that the recipient can take this piece out without having to take off the ribbon that goes around the whole project. Okay, so we're going to have it this way. And I've got some ribbon already. It's just the 1/4 inch seam binder. If you wanted to put a coloured ribbon round, you could certainly do that. But because I've got so many other colours, I'm actually just using the white. If you wanted to colour the white, you can do that with a blending brush and your ink pads. You can use blends. You can even use re-inker and put some in water in a little glass or something and pop the whole ribbon in. But, I just want to leave mine white. Now I've cut rather too much here. That's okay. I'll use the other little pieces on another project. I'm going to make my bow just a little bit smaller. I will leave the tails fairly long, but I just don't need the bow itself to be too big. There we go. Okay. Right, let's chop those tails down a little bit. There we go. And then I'm going to glue this down over the top of the ribbon. So to make sure that that ribbon stays in place, I'm going to put a little glue dot. I don't like putting wet glue onto ribbon because sometimes it will show through. Even when it dries, it will show through. Or it can go like a different texture, and you don't want it to do that. Okay, I'm going to pop another one. Let's see. Let's just pop another one under. I don't want to tie the put it under where I've tied the bow. I just want those to be level. Okay, and then I'm going to pop 2 little glue dots underneath our purple piece, and it will stick straight on top of the ribbon just because of the size of it. It's exactly the same width as the ribbon, so it won't overhang it or anything, and that's fine. Now I'm putting it off towards the left. I want to line it up over here. So now you can see why I tied the bow at the right hand side. So I still want to be able to see this. Okay, now, there we go. Now you could orientate this so that these flowers are down the left hand side. I wanted to be able to see these purple ones as well. But you can put that around whichever way you wanted. Let's find some dimensionals to go on the back here. Oh, let's get a new one out. And you can put the larger dimensionals on the back of this label. And then I'm going to put this right on top of the designer series paper and on top of the little purple strip of paper as well. Like this. So you can still see all of my flowers. I haven't hidden any of them. And then I'm going to pop some of those little bees on that came with it. So let me find where the bees are hiding, where they've flown away to. Oh, here they are. And for these, you need to put them on with the smaller dimensionals that came in the kit, because they're just tiny. And I'm going to choose a bee that's flying to the left. And there we go. I'm just going to pop this up here. You could put a couple on. You could put other gems on if you don't have the bees. Let's move that piece. Okay. And then for the inside of the packet, I'm just going to open it up slightly, and I'm going to put in a packet of sunflower seeds. Okay. You can see how that ribbon holds the pouch just closed, just enough to keep those seeds in. But if it wasn't seeds and it was hot chocolate and anything else like that, that would also fit in. Okay, so that's our little project. Really quick and simple, and it only uses half of a card base. And you know, if you don't have any of these little labels left, you can easily cut them out of a piece of the envelope. See where I've cut the envelope down and I haven't used this, you can actually pop this onto a piece of card and cut out with one of your label makers. Now I have made the same little project in different colours, and this time, instead of only using the designer series paper for the focus, I've actually stamped as well. And I used the stamps that came with the kit. I stamped in Blackberry Bliss, and then I used a blender pen just to move the ink around a little bit, and I then put Wink of Stella on. But if you didn't want to have it in a purple colour, you could stamp it on Daffodil Delight with crushed curry and pop it on. Or if you have any of these little pieces left, you could put one of those on as well. And instead of designer series paper, what I used was the front of one of the envelopes. So this is the bit that I have left, but it's just a piece of the envelope. Everything else is the same size. I've just added some leaves, still the same little seam binding and the little bee, and I've stamped actually onto the envelope itself. And in this one, I popped a different kind of flower. So this is flax, but I loved this pretty little row of flowers here. I thought that looked quite pretty too. So that's my different little alternative project for today. I'm busy making things with this kit all of the time. I love it so much. I think it's one of the nicest paper pumpkin kits I've ever seen. So thanks for watching me, everybody. I hope you'll give this a go. And it's such a simple little project. It will fit in an ordinary envelope. If you're mailing and you have a thicker set of seeds like this, it may cost a little bit more, but certainly this one wouldn't. It's a very flat pack, and it wouldn't cost any more to pop in an envelope and in the mail. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I'll see you all again really, really soon. Bye-bye.